Welcome, gents. What happens when a man who needs no spotlight, no approval, and no backup feels threatened? You're about to find out. See, Sigma males are not wired like the rest. They don't explode. They don't beg. They don't announce that something is wrong. Instead, they shift inward, silently and powerfully. When pressure shows up, most people react emotionally, but a Sigma male doesn't give that kind of access to anything outside of himself. His instincts tell him to watch, to learn, and then to act with a kind of quiet precision most people can't even understand. This isn't about fear. This is about strategy. It's about protecting his peace like it's the last match in a storm. Because once a Sigma male senses a threat, whether it's emotional, social, or psychological, he doesn't crumble. He sharpens. And what was once a calm and steady presence becomes something even more intense, not loud, not violent, but unshakably cold and focused. And if you're a Sigma male listening to this, understand this truth. The way you handle threats is not weakness. It's wisdom wrapped in discipline. Your silence is not a void, it's a strategy. Your detachment is not numbness, it's protection. You were not made to shout over the noise. You were made to master it from within. So keep being that quiet force, that presence that doesn't flinch. You don't need the world to understand you. You just need to stay in control of your own. Let's get started, gents. Number 1. He'll become colder than ice. When a Sigma male feels threatened, he does something that most people can't even process. He freezes emotionally, not in fear, but in control. He doesn't explode, he doesn't argue, he doesn't try to explain himself to anyone. Instead, it's like someone flipped a switch inside him. The warmth you used to feel from him, the calm presence, the subtle care, the quiet understanding, it disappears, just like that. And in its place is a version of him that feels distant, detached, and unreadable. This isn't coldness for attention. It's not a silent treatment meant to punish someone, it's self-preservation. It's a signal that something or someone has crossed a boundary that cannot be explained with words. And when that happens, the Sigma male doesn't want to talk about it. He wants space, he wants clarity, he wants his peace back. Imagine you're speaking to him and his eyes are focused on you, but you can feel he's no longer really present. He hears you, but he's not emotionally available. That's not by accident, that's by design. He's already pulled away, already withdrawn into his private world where logic reigns and emotions are filtered through hard truth. And here's the thing, even people closest to him feel it. Friends, partners, family, no one is exempt. When he turns cold, it feels like trying to reach someone through frosted glass. You can see them, but you can't touch what's real anymore. Why does he do this? Because when a Sigma male senses danger, emotional manipulation, betrayal, disrespect, he doesn't fight with noise, he fights with silence, and his silence is deafening. It makes people question themselves. It makes them realize how warm he actually was before he went cold. The truth is, the colder he gets, the more he is protecting something valuable, himself. And once he shuts the door emotionally, very few ever get it reopened. Number 2, he shuts the door without slamming it. When a Sigma male decides he's done, there's no big announcement, no heated argument, no final speech, just silence. One day you're having regular conversations, and the next it's like he vanished. No explanation, no fallout, just a clean exit that leaves people stunned and wondering what happened. But here's the thing, that moment didn't happen overnight. He was watching, processing, giving you silent chances to realign, and when nothing changed, he made a decision. Not out of anger, but out of clarity. That's what makes it hit harder. It's not emotional, it's final. Sigma males don't enjoy conflict for the sake of closure. They believe actions speak louder than words, and when someone shows them consistent patterns of disrespect, dishonesty, or emotional games, they don't argue with it, they just remove themselves. Quietly, permanently. Imagine you've been in a relationship or friendship with a Sigma male. Everything seems fine, maybe a little distant. Then suddenly he's unreachable. Messages go unanswered, calls ignored. You look back, trying to figure out what triggered it, but by then, it's already done. He didn't slam the door, he just shut it so gently you didn't even hear it close. That's his way of protecting his peace. Drama drains him. Long explanations feel unnecessary. Once he realizes that staying connected to someone costs him more than it gives, he lets go with precision. No guilt, no noise. To the people he leaves behind, it might feel cold or harsh. But for the Sigma male, it's the cleanest way to move forward. He doesn't chase closure, he becomes it. And by the time you notice he's gone, he's already miles ahead, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, with the door behind him sealed tight. Number 3, he sharpens himself like a blade. When most people feel threatened, they either fall apart or lash out. But the Sigma male does something completely different. He sharpens, not out of ego, not out of anger, but out of necessity. A threat to him is not just a problem, it is a mirror. And instead of running from it, he stares straight into it and says, "All right, let's get better." You won't see him complain. You won't hear him vent to everyone about how unfair life is. He just gets to work, quietly, relentlessly. If someone tried to tear him down emotionally, he starts building himself back stronger, mind, body, and spirit. If a relationship messed with his peace, he studies the lesson, hits the gym harder, reads more, gets smarter, and becomes even more grounded. Not because he wants to flex, but because he refuses to be caught off guard again. This is the kind of guy who takes betrayal and turns it into fuel. If someone tried to humiliate him, he'll use that moment as the reason he levels up. If he failed at something, he won't throw a pity party. He'll pick apart every detail until he understands exactly what went wrong, and then fix it. It's like watching a blade go back into the fire, not because it's broken, but because it's about to come out sharper. A Sigma male doesn't grow out of revenge. He grows for protection. He knows that the more refined he becomes, the less likely it is for the same threat to ever reach him again. Whether it's toxic people, fake friends, or unexpected failures, he takes the hit, then gets better, stronger, quieter, and more focused than ever. That is why you cannot count him out. Every setback only makes him more precise. Every threat just makes the blade sharper. Number 4, he becomes hyper-strategic. When a Sigma male feels threatened, he doesn't act out, he plans. His mind instantly shifts into what can only be described as a war room. He goes silent, not because he's confused or overwhelmed, but because he's calculating. Every detail, every angle, every word said around him becomes part of a larger plan. He doesn't react emotionally. He thinks long-term. While others are stuck in the heat of the moment, he's already thinking 10 steps ahead. And what makes this so dangerous is that you'll never see it coming. He doesn't talk about what he's going to do. He just does it. Let's say someone tries to undermine him at work or in a relationship. Most people would argue, defend themselves, or try to win the battle right there, not the Sigma male. He plays the long game. He'll observe quietly, gather the full picture, and wait for the perfect moment to make his move. When he finally acts, it's clean, effective, and leaves no room for response. It's the kind of move that looks effortless but took hours of mental precision to prepare. And this goes beyond revenge. It's about making sure he never finds himself in the same vulnerable spot again. He rewires his routines, refines his relationships, reworks his goals, all to ensure whatever or whoever tried to shake him loses access to his peace. People often think he's passive or detached because he doesn't show immediate reactions. The truth is, he's far from passive. He's strategic. He knows that in chaos, the calm mind wins. And that's exactly what he uses as his weapon, his ability to stay focused when others are distracted by emotion. You won't know what he's planning until it lands. And by then, you'll realize it was never random. It was deliberate, silent, and impossible to stop. That's what makes the Sigma male dangerously effective. Number 5, he deletes emotion-like data. When a Sigma male feels threatened, he doesn't get stuck in the emotional storm. He does something most people can't even imagine. He detaches completely. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he refuses to let emotion cloud his judgment. He treats his emotions like files on a hard drive. If something becomes too chaotic or dangerous to his mental clarity, he wipes the emotional part clean and shifts into full logic mode. You might be arguing with him, expecting a reaction, waiting for him to break or explode, but he won't. His face stays calm, his voice stays steady. Inside, he's already disconnected from the feeling and is now thinking purely in terms of solutions, consequences, and outcomes. It's not heartless, it's protective. Say someone close to him betrays his trust. Instead of chasing closure or drowning in heartbreak, he mentally sorts through the situation, pulls out the lessons, then deletes the rest. He doesn't keep emotional baggage. He doesn't replay scenes in his mind, wondering what he could have done differently. He processes, then discards. Cold? Maybe, but it's how he keeps his mind razor sharp. This ability to emotionally detach is part of what makes Sigma males so dangerous in high-pressure situations. While others are overwhelmed or impulsive, he's clear-headed. While others are stuck overthinking, he's already 5 steps ahead, and if you ever try to manipulate him emotionally, good luck. Once he senses emotional games, he cuts the cord. No warning, no emotional reaction, just a clean mental reset, as if you were never part of the equation at all. The Sigma male doesn't deny emotion. He just refuses to be controlled by it. And when the stakes are high, when the air gets tense, he doesn't feel less. He simply chooses not to feel what might slow him down. That's how he stays untouchable. Number 6. He exposes people by letting them talk. One of the Sigma male's most powerful skills is also one of the quietest. He listens, not half-heartedly, not to interrupt. He listens fully, patiently, and without reacting. And the longer he listens, the more people start to unravel in front of him. He doesn't waste energy arguing. He knows something most people don't. When someone feels insecure, intimidated, or even threatened by his presence, they usually can't stop talking. They over-explain, they exaggerate, they try to prove something, and in that rush to be heard, they end up saying too much. The Sigma male just lets it happen. No judgment on his face, no need to correct anyone. He lets their own words reveal exactly who they are. It's subtle but powerful. Imagine someone trying to lie or impress him. They might say something that sounds smart or strong, hoping to gain control or approval. But the Sigma male picks up on what they're not saying. He notices the insecurity hidden in the brag, the fear behind the fake confidence, the desperation wrapped in charm, and the more they talk, the more they expose. He doesn't confront, he confirms. Internally, he's building a complete profile of who you are based on what you reveal under pressure. That's why it's almost impossible to fool him. You don't even realize you're giving yourself away, but he's already pieced it together. This is not manipulation, it's observation, it's restraint. And it's what makes the Sigma male such a rare force. While others are busy trying to be the loudest in the room, he's already figured out who's real and who's pretending. He doesn't need to destroy you, he just lets your words do the job, and by the time you realize what you've said, he's already moved on, with clarity, confidence, and a sharp memory of exactly who you showed yourself to be. Number 7, he's already 10 moves ahead. Messing with a Sigma male is like playing chess when you thought it was checkers. By the time you realize you've crossed a line with him, it's already too late. He saw it coming. He watched it unfold. And while you were busy trying to get under his skin, he was mapping out his next 10 moves with calm precision. He doesn't wait to be caught off guard. He's always thinking, always planning, not because he's paranoid, but because he understands how quickly people can shift. One small red flag is all he needs to start calculating outcomes. And once he senses a threat, he doesn't just react, he prepares, fully, quietly, intentionally. Imagine someone betrays his trust. While they think they've pulled one over on him, he's already made peace with it, adjusted his expectations, and figured out exactly how to distance himself without chaos. He doesn't chase explanations. He removes access. You won't get the drama. You'll just feel the consequences. The scariest part? His decisions are never impulsive. They are deliberate and refined. He studies patterns. He reads between the lines, and when he moves, it's with precision. There's no guesswork. Everything he does is backed by cold logic and long-term thinking. People who underestimate the Sigma male often find themselves blindsided, not because he wanted revenge, but because he needed resolution. And when he delivers it, it's clean, it's final, and it's effective. That's what makes him different. While others are still caught up in emotional reactions and petty games, he's already played out every possible scenario in his mind and chosen the one that ends the situation on his terms. You never know what he's planning until it lands. And when it does, you'll realize it wasn't just a reaction. It was a strategy, a quiet one, and it worked. Number 8, he turns threats into psychological case studies. Most people, when threatened, either fight back or fold, but not the Sigma male. His reaction is entirely different and far more unsettling. He doesn't get emotional. He doesn't try to prove himself. Instead, he steps back and starts analyzing. Not in anger, but with cold curiosity. You think you're intimidating him, but he's already studying you like a case file. Every word, every gesture, every inconsistency. He's taking mental notes calmly and silently. He watches how your ego reacts when challenged. He notices how you shift blame, how you raise your voice to look stronger, or shrink when pressed too hard. He's not just seeing the surface. He's already 10 layers deep, dissecting your insecurities like a scientist observing a lab rat through glass. Let's say someone tries to manipulate him through guilt or passive aggression. A Sigma male will not bite. He will observe how that person uses emotion as a weapon, how they rely on control, and where their weakness lies. And once he understands the full pattern, he stores that knowledge, not to retaliate, but to never fall for it again. This is how he protects himself. Not with noise, not with confrontation, but with insight. The more you try to threaten his peace, the more clearly he sees you. And the more clearly he sees you, the less power you hold over him. He does not argue with emotional outbursts. He studies them. He lets people reveal who they are, not by pressing them, but by simply allowing them to act naturally. He turns chaos into a learning opportunity and turns manipulators into blueprints for self-defense. So while others are caught up in the moment trying to win a fight, the Sigma male is doing something far more dangerous, understanding exactly how to never be vulnerable to that same threat again. Number 9, he breaks patterns. One of the most disarming things about a Sigma male is that he doesn't play by the script. You can't pin him down. The moment you think you know how he'll react, he flips the entire situation on its head. Not for attention, not for drama, but to stay in control. That unpredictability is his armor. Most people are creatures of habit. You push them, they push back. You insult them, they defend themselves. But the Sigma male doesn't move that way. If he senses you're trying to provoke him, corner him, or manipulate him into reacting a certain way, he will do the complete opposite. Calmly, intentionally, and without warning. You expect anger? He gives silence. You expect silence. He asks a question that cuts straight through your defense. You expect distance. He leans in just enough to throw you off. It's psychological chess. And while you're trying to play a familiar game, he's breaking the board and making his own rules. Let's say someone tries to get under his skin at work. Most people would argue or shut down. The Sigma, he might agree with you just to disarm you, then go and quietly outperform you where it really counts. That's the thing. He refuses to be predictable because he knows that once people can predict you, they can control you. And that's never going to happen with him. He uses pattern breaking not just to protect himself, but to disrupt the power of anyone who thinks they have him figured out. He doesn't let people read him. He makes them question themselves instead. So when a Sigma male is under pressure or feels threatened, don't expect him to act how others would. Expect the unexpected. That's how he keeps his advantage, by staying 5 moves ahead and always outside your reach. Number 10, he turns down the volume of life. When a Sigma male feels threatened, he doesn't drown it out with distractions. He doesn't go chasing noise to numb the discomfort. Instead, he does something most people avoid. He turns everything down. Music, parties, phone calls, small talk, they all fade into silence. Not because he's depressed, not because he's isolating, but because he's entering a state of deep recalibration. While others try to escape the pressure by surrounding themselves with people or keeping busy, the Sigma male walks straight into the quiet. He knows that clarity doesn't come from noise, it comes from stillness. So he pulls away on purpose. He might cancel plans, he might disappear from social media, he might go days without speaking to anyone, but that silence is not weakness. That is him resetting his entire system. This is the moment he rebuilds. Every thought gets sorted, every emotion gets examined, every move gets calculated. It's like putting his mind through a detox. He sheds the noise, the drama, the irrelevant voices, until only the truth is left. Imagine watching someone go from being surrounded by people one week to completely off the radar the next. That's the Sigma's way of recentering. If something or someone has shaken his peace, he doesn't patch it up with temporary highs. He goes inward, he reflects, he reorganizes, and he rebuilds in silence. And when he returns, he's not the same. He's sharper, quieter, more refined. People often mistake this quiet retreat as disappearing, but it's not. It's preparation. He's not hiding. He's evolving. So if you ever notice a Sigma male stepping back and turning down the volume of life, don't assume he's lost. Understand that he's tuning everything out just long enough to find a sound that is truly his own. And when he finds it, he comes back stronger than ever. Number 11, he becomes brutally selective. When a Sigma male feels threatened, something shifts deep inside him. A quiet reset. He starts reevaluating everything and everyone. No one is off limits. Friends, family, lovers, colleagues, if you've got a place in his life, you're getting reassessed. And he doesn't need a loud betrayal to do it. One wrong sentence, one shady moment, one flash of disloyalty, and the mental door begins to close. He can cut someone off mid-conversation in his mind and never look back, not because he's cold-hearted, but because he values his peace more than he values forced connections. You won't always know when you've been removed. He won't make a scene, he won't give you a warning. One moment you're part of his world, the next you're just another name that gets no response. Sigma males are not interested in maintaining ties out of habit or obligation. They build their inner circle on loyalty, integrity, and energy that feels real. The moment someone starts giving fake support, half-truths, or shows signs of envy masked as care, he takes note, and he takes action. Silently. He doesn't need a long explanation. He doesn't ask for closure. He trusts his gut. And once he's seen a crack in someone's character, he doesn't forget it. Ever. This is what makes the Sigma male different. He doesn't entertain drama. He eliminates the source. And sometimes that source is someone who thought they were too close to ever be questioned. So while others struggle to let go of toxic ties, the Sigma male clears his space with precision, not to punish, not to prove anything, but because he knows this truth. Keeping the wrong people around is far more dangerous than being alone. He would rather walk with no one than walk beside someone he cannot trust. Number 12, he erases the threat without violence. When a Sigma male feels threatened, he doesn't explode. He doesn't scream, argue, or try to prove a point. Instead, he uses a far more powerful and unsettling tool, indifference. Cold, quiet, and surgical. The more you try to provoke him, the less he reacts, and the more invisible you become. You see, most people feed off attention. Whether it's admiration or conflict, they want a response. They want a reaction to feel powerful. But the Sigma male starves the situation. He doesn't give you anger. He gives you nothing. That's what hits the hardest. Imagine you insult him. Most people would defend themselves. He just looks at you unbothered, like you don't even exist. That blank space where you expected a fight, that's his weapon. And it leaves people scrambling. Because the moment you realize your games have no impact on him, your power vanishes. This isn't about arrogance, it's about control. The Sigma male refuses to let anyone pull him into a war that isn't worth his energy. If someone crosses the line, he removes his presence. Not physically, always, but mentally, emotionally, completely. You'll still see him, you just won't matter anymore. And that's the final blow. When he no longer sees you as a threat, he doesn't attack. He simply erases your relevance, quietly, permanently. People expect a fight. They expect fire. But the Sigma male doesn't waste matches on things that no longer interest him. His silence is louder than rage. His detachment cuts deeper than revenge. By the time you realize what he's done, the damage is already complete. Not because he tried to destroy you, but because he refused to acknowledge you. And in a world where attention is everything, that kind of indifference is absolute. In final words, power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the man who says nothing, plans everything, and walks away without looking back. When a Sigma male feels threatened, he doesn't fall apart. He becomes sharper, colder, and more calculated. He doesn't move with chaos. He moves with clarity. He doesn't react to be understood. He responds to protect his peace. This is not weakness. This is mastery of self, the kind that doesn't need to be explained to anyone. Sigma males are built differently. You don't thrive in noise. You thrive in stillness. You don't flex for attention. You refine in silence. You know the weight of your presence and the value of your time. That is why you don't chase people. You don't entertain drama. And you don't explain your instincts. You act when it's necessary. You disappear when it's time. And you rebuild not to be seen, but to be untouchable. When you feel threatened, you don't spiral. You become precise. You study. You upgrade. You remove access. You walk away without a single word because you've already said everything you needed to through your actions. So if you've ever felt out of place for being distant, calm under pressure, or emotionally detached when most people panic, understand this. It's not something broken in you, it's something powerful. You are wired to think deeper, move quieter, and stand alone when needed. And that makes you dangerous in all the right ways. Stay that way, don't explain it, don't soften it, don't second guess it. The world was built to reward noise, but you were built to master silence. And that silence is your greatest strength. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.